Hi everyone, my name is Maria and I am the Green Stitcher here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. I am really excited to talk to you April stitching today. It's probably going to be a long one, so get yourself a cup of coffee or some snacks or some stitching and let's get to it. I'll probably say first sort of what I'll be talking about. I'll do the time, I'm not sure what they're called, time slots, time stamps in the description below, so you can skip over or to the point that you want to watch. So what I'll be talking about today is what I've done in April and all of my stitching over the last month. There have been 2 videos on the channel released in April which have nothing to do with my April stitching. You might have seen they are the 10 favorite designs I've ever stitched and stitching with cats. So if that's something you're interested in, head over to the channel and watch those. I didn't think I would be showing you all of my finished designs I've ever done because I have been stitching for almost 9 years now, and so I wanted to just do a really quick little top, and I've done top 10 of my favorite designs, and then in June or July, I'll have to double check with my filming schedule, you'll be seeing the 10 favorite FFOs as well. And then the other video was stitching with cats, and that is just some little tips and tricks I've applied and that worked for me for having cats in the house and also being able to stitch and having them in the same room as you while stitching. Like I said in that video, I am a new cat parent of only like a few months, probably like half a year at this point, and they are only little baby cats. They're just turning 9 months in a week or so. So very curious, very interested in everything I have to do with stitching, so I had to adapt and make stitching safe for both myself and the stitching itself, and the cat. So if that's something you're interested in, head over and watch that. Today I have quite a lot to talk about, like I said, especially it being April. So what I'll be doing today is, I think I'll switch out the order, the normal order of shout outs, and instead of doing them at the end of the video, I'll do them at the beginning. I've seen a couple people do that way and I quite like that, so I'll start with that. So I'll do shout outs and I'll talk about people who I've watched this month on Flosstube. I'll also, I don't have any FFOs, but I'll be showing you some finishes, a start, some whips, a tiny bit of sewing. I will show some other crafts to do with embroidery that I did a bit this month. I will answer a question about side stretchers on my scroll frames that I've been asked under my previous videos. I will be showing you my haul, doing a life update at the end, and probably before haul, or maybe at the end of the video, we'll see how it goes. You'll see again on the timestamps. I will talk Maynia plans and the schedule for the May videos on the channel, and I'll probably post, do like a community post on the channel as well to give you my May schedule, May video schedule, if that makes sense. I think that's the general sort of plan for today's video. I might throw in something else that I just think of on the spot, but that's about it. I want to start with shout outs and someone who has very kindly mentioned me on their channel and said wonderful kind words about my channel and me as a stitcher, and that is Jane and Julie from Running with Scissors, a fantastic channel of 2 cross-stitchy friends who both have very different style but stitch lovely fantastic things, and just have really great sort of banter and yeah, great atmosphere. I do quite like Flosstube channels with, you know, a duo, be it sisters or friends or partners or anyone else, you know. I think yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and if I would love to do that if I had someone in my life who stitches and is near enough where I live to make a video with me, and they were willing, obviously. I would love to do that, but alas. So thank you so much, Jane and Julie. It was really sweet of you to shout me out and talk about my finishing and my stitching, and mentioning some of my videos as well. I'm just so grateful, and I have said it before and I will say again, the Flosstube community in English is just so lovely, so supportive, so kind. I just feel so inspired and so so great being a part of it, and the way we sort of uplift each other and mention each other and give each other a leg up, especially the new Flosstubers who need sort of the influx of new subscribers to, you know, go on filming. Yeah, really appreciate it. Absolutely amazing. And thanks to Jane and Julie as well. I was just under 1,000 subscribers before they mentioned me, and since then I've gone way over, and I think I hit 1,200 this morning. I am filming on Sunday 28th of April, so 1,200, that's amazing. I can't even believe it. It's only been a month and a half since I started filming, so thank you all. Thank you so much for choosing to spend time with me, for subscribing, for staying, for commenting and giving me pieces of advice and encouragement. It is, like I said, an incredibly sweet and wonderful and very much appreciated. So there will be a surprise during this video, so watch for it. Watch out for it if you'd like to participate. So also I'll mention people I've watched this month, and I'll try to do like new for me every month, and one of the all-time favorites as well. So new for me, and I don't think they're new for anyone at this point, because they have just absolutely exploded in Flosstube. They are amazing sisters from Hathaway Stitchers, Amity and Erin. They are lovely, hilarious, so inspiring. They love birds and they stitch a lot of bird designs, and again there's this sort of banter going on between them, being sisters and stitchers and neighbors as it turns out as well. So I've absolutely loved watching them, watched every single video, and cannot wait to see the next one when it comes out. So if you haven't seen them, I will tag everyone I mention in the description below, and yeah, go check them out if you haven't seen them before. They are fantastic. And then one of my all-time favorites, who is not new to Flosstube whatsoever, but she is fantastic and has a great range of designs she stitches and is just a lovely person, is Debbie from Mama Bear Stitchery. She is I think she lives in California, and she stitches just such a variety of designs, from sort of kids to primitives and long dogs and full coverage. You can find any sort of design there on her channel, definitely, and I just love I love watching her. And she releases one video a month normally with the monthly update, and I again can't wait till the end of the month to see what she's done with her stitching. And another little honorable mention, again it's probably a bit of a back and forth at this point, is the lovely Stephanie and Ellison from Cross Stitch the Globe, who have congratulated me on the 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Again, I've said it in the comments and I'll say again, so much support, so uplifting and inspiring. Thank you guys, that's fantastic. I'll probably announce the giveaway winner for the previous video. So in the March update video, I said that by that point I had hit way more than 500 subscribers, but I wanted to do a little giveaway, and it was open to anyone living in the UK or EU. European Union, and I've extended it because I realized I only wanted to run it for about 10 days or a week. I'd realized everyone's busy and has a long list of watch later videos, so I've ended up extending it till I think 27th of April, so just a couple of days ago it closed. We had only a few entries, so the chances of winning were really high, and this was the design. So it's a shepherd's bush. Is it vintage? Did I say the year in the last video? I feel like I did. Oh, 2004. It's a vintage, well, the copy is new, but I mean the design is 2004. It's a design by Shepherd's Bush, and it's like a cardboardy sort of booklet. It's got just the pattern on the back, and let me just have a look. I've had the winner drawn this morning, so I'll put the screenshot of the comment they left here now. So the winner is SK-Stitch. You are the winner of this pattern, and if you could get in touch with me on Instagram, which I will leave below, or you can go through the YouTube channel, and my Instagram is linked to the YouTube channel. So it's, again, I think it's Maria_the Green Stitcher, and message me your address and your full address details, and I will send it over as soon as possible. And if you don't have Instagram, don't say anything other than I don't have Instagram in the comment under this video, and I will get in touch with you and we'll figure out a different way to get your address over to me. So thank you so much for participating, and congratulations. And let's probably get to stitching at this point. Let's get to stitching. So, like I said, I had no FFOs this month. I just didn't feel like FFOing anything. I did a lot of sewing last month, and this month, getting ready for Maynia, I was busy prepping for that, so that was most of my free time besides stitching. However, I managed to finish 3 things this month, which I'm really excited about. One of them I did not even hope to finish in April, and I managed to. So probably let's start with the smallest to biggest, and I'll be inserting pictures and videos of some of the bits here, because yeah, they deserve a close-up view so you can see how fantastic they are. So let's start with the smallest one, and coincidentally I finish off today's morning. I was sort of stitching away the last 100 stitches before getting ready to film this video, so I have like another finish because it had only 100 left, and I thought I didn't want to drag it out until whenever the next monthly update will be, which is probably going to be June. And again, I'll talk to you about Maynia plans and video plans for the next month, probably closer to the end. So I have a lovely series of gnomes, gnome kits from Mill Hill, which is designed after Jim Shore's Christmas ornaments, I believe, or Christmas decorations. And they are these lovely, I call them red and green gnomes, the series. I mean, there's 5 in the series. I had already finished 3, and this was going to be my 4th one. So I stitched the gnome holding ornaments. I started it at the end of March, I believe, just a couple of days before I filmed the March update video. And I only had like 50, maybe fewer stitches on there, and I really wanted to finish it in April, like I said, and I'll be probably repeating this again and again in this video. Prepping for Maynia, I'm trying to sort of clear out some of the starts, at least things that I could finish sort of within a month. Also, I needed to free up some scroll frames or some project bags or some other things. So this was a finish, and I stitched using everything from the kit, and he is absolutely fantastic and lovely, and I think they're a bit bigger than they seem to be, right? So you might think they sort of match the size on the cover, but they are quite a bit bigger. So he is my 4th one. I used perforated paper from the kit, and as you can see, this is literally half the sheet. So after I've stitched my 1st one, I have figured out they put way too much paper in there. So they give you like the normal, you know, squares, because the kit is a square size. and so is the paper, and you only need half of it to stitch each gnome. Realistically, you have lots on the sides to give you, you know, enough room for the edges, right? And also, by the way, it lives, all of them actually, I have the previews and paper patterns that are left from the previous ones in this little project bag. Once I've started sewing my own project bags, I've made this one to fit the size of a standard square Mill Hill kit. So it's got a bit of a glittery gold back, and it's got, I feel like it's holly leaves, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like it's a Christmassy one, and I absolutely love it. Like I said, it's perfect for Christmas Mill Hills. So here is gnome holding ornaments, and I'll be inserting pictures here so you can see the details up close. It uses quite a few DMC colors, and I'll show you one more thing in a second, and quite a few beads. And again, I'll show the leftovers in just a second, just in case you are wondering. So I use perforated paper for all of these, the brown one from the kits. I use all the kit materials, and then I stitch 3/1. Most of the stitches on Mill Hills are 3/1, and the beads, you know, you do a full cross with 2 strands for petite beads, and half stitch with either 2 or 3, whichever you prefer, for larger beads. So yeah, I only have one gnome left to do, and what I did before I started any of them, when I was getting the electronic pattern ready for Cross Stitch Saga app that I use for stitching, I put them all 5 together in one file so I could see the number of colors and the order of all the colors that are going to be used across. And so I have one organizer for all 5 designs, and it uses, what is that, 27 colors. And look how much floss you have left over. This is leftovers, and I haven't opened the 5th one yet. So what I would do, it also helped with sorting the threads. You know how Mill Hills have sort of just the bundles without any organizers or, you know, threads being sorted. It also helped with doing that. So once you've done it once correctly, and I normally use my DMC color chart to do this, yeah, you know where to put the next one. And then once I have all of these left over, I'll put them on my floss cards like this that I use to keep my leftover DMC threads, and they'll go in the box for next designs. And it's so much easier to stitch. You have one organizer for all 5. Yeah, I just love it. If I'm ever doing like a series like this that uses a similar color palette, I'll just probably do the same. This was really, really handy, and I loved working on it. So that, and also I'll show you the beads again, just in case you're curious. There's quite a lot left over, so I use these organizers that are wooden with acrylic top that is attached via magnets, and there we go, quite a lot left over, and I'll be sorting those at some point soon. I don't sort my beads before I stitch Mill Hills. I usually do it at the very end, just whatever is left over. I feel like they're distinctly different enough in the same bag that you don't need to, I don't need to sort them. So that was my finish number 1, the smallest one this month, and absolutely just beautiful, so cute. I love these gnomes. There's also a new-ish series with they're like cream and green and brown, and I do think I might get them in the end, but maybe sometime later. In my view, they're a bit too big for ornaments, depending on your tree, obviously. We only have like 2.5 meter ceilings here in the living room, so we don't have a huge tree, and these are a bit too big for that. So I do something else with them, and I'll show you. I really wanted to FFO it as well, but just didn't have the time. So I'll probably show you the FFO in June. So that was finish number 1. And then I think I said to you at the end or at some point during the March update that I didn't really have to finish anything specific to be able to start Maynia. But there was one design that was using up a scroll frame that I really needed, and I wanted to finish it, but also because it's only a small design. So I had finished the Crafter tarot card by Innocent Bones, and she has her own website, and she has an Etsy shop as well, and she's an English designer who she makes kits as well. She does merch now. I think I've seen her sell like t-shirts and possibly tote bags, but yeah, she's got this series of tarot cards, and I at some point when we got the cats, my little side story rant thing, at some point when we got the cats, we found out it's quite hard to have fresh flowers in the house with cats unless you put them really high up on the shelf, or you know, put them in the room where they're not allowed. So say roses and lilies and a lot of other commonly bought flowers are actually poisonous to them, and at this point probably both of them, but at least one of the cats is very into chewing and biting all the plants, so we had to get rid of some of them, and I no longer have like fresh flowers in sort of bouquets in the house. So my husband said, you know, instead of getting me flowers, he'll get me little, you know, cross-stitchy goodness things as addition to gifts for occasions or without occasion. So one of the things he got me for Valentine's Day was this pattern from Etsy, which was very lovely of him, and I started it straight away. I think maybe in March. I think I started in March. I did about half of the stitching, and I finished the other half in April. And I have swapped two colors. I think I've changed two colors. So instead of whatever the background is on the original, this is 452 by DMC, and then the dark red that is supposed to be, again, a different color is 3685. I have stitched it on 25 count Dublin linen in pearl grey or smoke grey, one of the greys. It's just a standard Zweigart. Actually, it's not a Zweigart, is it? It doesn't have the orange thingy. It must be a Witchell then. Well, it's a 25 count linen, that's grey, let's say that. And because it's so sort of loose, you can kind of see through it, and the count is so large, I stitched 3/2, and I do love stitching with 3 strands, so I don't mind that at all, and I quite like the coverage of 3 on this. And again, I'll probably insert pictures so you can see some of the details up close. I changed the colors. I felt like with the grey fabric, these shades worked a bit better and combined really well with the rest of the colors. I just realized I'm sort of dressed in similar colors today, and sort of dark red and these smoky blues are some of my favorites. So here is my second finish in April, and I have a plan on how to FFO it, so you might see it FFO'd in June. I love how it turned out. I'm so glad that I changed the colors, and I'm usually not brave enough to do that, but I'm trying to embrace the do whatever I want, well, stitch whatever I want whenever I want, and that includes swapping out some colors if I feel like that would do justice to the design. I have done something unintentionally which works out really well. So I'm not sure if I've mentioned before, I am prone to be a perfectionist. However, I'm really trying to fight it, and if I find little imperfections and things, I try to embrace them instead of correcting them. And so you might be able to see on this one, there's an extra stitch in this little pink crescent moon, and I just left it. It's not symmetrical, who cares? It's not perfect, and it's wonderful. So here's my second finish. Absolutely loved it, and I stitched, like I said, about half of it, so 1300 stitches on it this month. And then, ooh, the biggest and the most beautiful one, and just such a joy and such a wonderful design. So I will show you the preview first. It does look slightly different because of the fabric, but I finished my first Mirabilia in April and I can't believe I did it. So if you have seen my previous videos, you know I've been stitching on Blossom by Mirabilia. She is MD 180, and does she put years on here, I'm wondering? No, I can't see any on this one, so I don't know. I think she's one of the new-ish last 5 years, I would say, releases, and she is lovely and very colorful. She was meant to be stitched on Peaceful Purple Witchel linen in 32, which is what I originally bought. However, and you'll see it's becoming a bit of a theme because I've done the same thing to one of the May starts. I've dunked it into some red dye last minute before sort of doing the start, and here she is. I'll turn a bit to the side, so there she is, completely finished and incredibly gorgeous. I can't believe that I managed to finish her in April. So that was not the plan completely. I did not have to finish her in April. I had about a third left, so that's quite a lot. She's about 20,000 stitches, and I did about 6,000 in April. So I worked on a different project on the 1st of April because it was a bank holiday, and I was sort of finishing up what I was doing over that long weekend. And then from April 2nd till I think about 16th, I did not pick up anything else but her. She stayed out on the scroll frame. I stitched on her every minute possible where I had some free time, and had the best time stitching on her, and I'm absolutely in love with Mirabilia now. I mean, I was already while I was stitching her, but now even more so. So I originally thought I was going to just do 3. There's these 3 designs that I put into a made-up series of ladies in kimonos. However, I now want to stitch many more. So yeah, but let's concentrate on Blossom today. I'll be inserting a video so you can see it close up, all the beads, all the colors, all the things. And while it's playing, I'll be giving you some general sort of information. So meant to be stitched on 32 count Witchel in Peaceful Purple. I dunked it in red liquid dye for about 15 minutes, and this one is called aubergine or eggplant, whichever part of the world you're in. And so it shrunk the fabric a little bit while it was dyeing it, and that made the beads be a bit chunky in some places where they're meant to be stitched, you know, right next to each other in the next, you know, block. Which I don't regret in the end. I really like the color of the fabric and how it turned out, and the beads don't bother me too much in this case. And then I stitched with everything that was called for. So this is all the DMC threads. The only thing I changed about the threads is the white in it, and there was about 2,000 or 3,000 stitches in B 5200. I've added a 1 strand of 32 color blending filament by Krynic, so the iridescent one. I just wanted to give it a bit more shine, and I didn't want to stitch this many thousands of stitches in just white. So that looks really lovely. All the beads are Mill Hill beads, again, that I called for. I didn't swap anything, and the only other little tiny thing I've changed is her hand. Let me just show you here. Her hand had one orange cross where it looked like a ring, so I thought instead of using cotton, I'll just use a bead that is from the same family, like one of the colors of the design. I just used one of the orange beads and stitched it, you know, vertically with a cross, so it stands, because she's holding her hand sort of like this, right? So her ring would be, you know, like almost parallel to the ground, because the rest of the beads are all stitched with half stitches, so they're, you know, diagonal on the design. So it uses a combination of petite ones and the larger ones, and I loved working with her and all the colors and all the beads. I think she's absolutely phenomenal, such a beauty, and the last couple of days on her as well were just like a dream. Really, really quick stitching, a lot of progress, and very, very enjoyable. And I was stitching her from the bottom up, and that's how I normally like to stitch my designs. And I quite like that method because, yeah, the dress probably is the best part of a Mirabilia normally, right? But then, yeah, I think getting to the face last and sort of giving her the last touch and bringing her to life makes sense to me, at least. And yeah, I loved her. I thought for a second to do skin over one, and then decided against it. So a couple of years ago I was trying to start a long dog. I did not in the end. I tried to use variegated floss, just, you know, use standard Anchor and DMC variegated floss, and stitch 2 over 1 on 25 count. And my eyes just nearly fell out of my eye socket. So it's too tiny for me. I normally stitch without any accessories in terms of glasses or magnification. So I stick to the fabric counts that I can do that with. I don't know if I want to do any magnification, at least not at this point. So I remembered before I started doing her skin, I remembered that experience and thought that I wasn't going to be brave enough to do it on 32 count, and I just left it as 2 over 1, and I really like how it turned out. I didn't regret that whatsoever. I think she looks fantastic. And also what I wanted to mention is, so this is wood-chilled and it's quite stiff, and I like that. I love stitching on this sort of fabric. I feel like the fact that it's a bit stiff gives you a better control over, you know, the neatness of your crosses, and that really plays well with stitching skin. The crosses lay, you know, neater, like I said, a bit more uniform, and so the skin looks more, you know, again, uniform, rather than if I was using, say, Belfast, which is much softer, and you can, you know, sometimes pull your cross a bit too much and have a bit of uneven coverage, if that makes sense. So I felt like, yeah, Witchell worked really well for this, and yeah, I'm absolutely in love. She is magnificent and beautiful. She deserves a wonderful frame, which I need to find, and she's definitely going up on the wall. Not sure where, possibly in this room, maybe somewhere else, but yeah, I'm not going to wait to stitch any more from my made up series to FFO her and put her up. It's more a matter of finding the right frame and, you know, arranging my hobby budget, which is not large, just so I can do all the things, buy some patterns and fabric, but also, you know, FFO some of the things. So this is the absolute success of April. I spent more than half probably of my stitchy time on her, but I'm really glad I finished her. Just, yeah. And thank you to whoever messaged me last time and left a comment regarding hand-dyed fabric and washing it, and, you know, being careful with the white in the design. So when I just a side note again, for anyone who likes the fabric and sort of maybe wants to dye something by themselves, and that's not my first experience doing this. So I use the Rit dye that is meant for natural natural fabrics, so cotton, linen, something else, right? And I use the packaging instructions, and it said to put tablespoon of dish soap, and I don't know if it does anything chemically in there, and also half a cup or a cup of salt. If you have the bottle, you know the instructions. I mean, just for the sake of, you know, saying this. So that's how I did it. So I put it in hot water with the dye, with dish soap and salt, and when I finished dyeing it and was giving it a rinse in cold water, there was no dye running whatsoever. And so I didn't give it another wash when I finished her, but I sprayed her from a spray bottle before I ironed, so I could, you know, get the crinkles out. It is witch oat, it doesn't iron well without water, and there was no issues whatsoever. And then I was also hand dyeing fabric for one of my May starts this month using the same method. So soap, dish soap, salt, hot water, and a liquid red dye, and it worked out really, really well. So yeah, if you, I mean, I don't know if it's color fast technically. If I would put it in water, I don't know what would have happened, especially warm water, but I didn't want to anyways. Oh, and another thing I completely forgot. So if you have seen my previous videos, you know I was stitching her on a scroll frame, which I do, I use for all of my projects at this point, but I was beading her as I went, and it was, like I said, my first Mirabilia and my first time beading something as I went. There's quite a lot of beads in this one. I think about 2,000 if I'm not mistaken, quite a lot, maybe 1,500. I didn't want to leave it till the end and have like an almost finished and then spend another week just doing the beads. So I beaded as I went, and what I did was, when I was scrolling on the scroll frames, the part that went under, I've added a strip of felt that I've seen someone else do it, and I felt that was really good, and so it really sort of gave me the protection that I wanted. So the beads that were going on the scroll frame weren't touching the next layer of the fabric and denting it, and it worked out really well, and it ironed out really well as well. There weren't any dents on the fabric. All the dents were in the felt when I had taken it off the scroll frame. So really glad I did it as I went, and absolutely positive experience, and I will definitely do it the same way with the next one. And I had one start, and I'll call it a tiny sad start because that's all it was, but it was started on a wonderful day for a wonderful occasion. So I'll insert the picture somewhere here now. I had it in my stash, and it was actually a gift from my Stitchy friend, Masha, who lives in Belarus. And so she and I have been friends for a while now, and I think on Facebook or somewhere it popped up with a, oh, you've been friends for this long, and I think we hit our 5-year anniversary, which we weren't aware of, but that was a nice excuse to do a sort of last minute start, both me and her. So we've had a quick chat, and we decided we'll be starting designs that we have gifted each other at some point, and we'll be choosing designs for each other, for the other person to stitch. So I'll probably insert a picture here as well. She started the, I don't remember what it's called, it's the Friends and Family little sampler by Dimensions. I had stitched already a couple of years ago, and then I found another kit and gifted it to her. And then I started the nettle that I've just inserted, and I'll I think she's on Etsy, something Owl. I'll put the name of the designer here. So Masha gave me this design a few years ago, and I really, really like it. Obviously it's green, but also I really like nettle, and the combination of the colors here is great. And I have stitched other designs by this designer before, but never like the round circle ones. So she has a large series of these botanical circles with different plants, different flowers, and then other fandom ones from different shows and animations. So originally I started it on a round hoop by Nerge, and I didn't like it. I had stitched like that before, and I have a holder for the hoops, and I just don't enjoy it. I can't see all of the fabric. I get the edges of the fabric are touching my wrists while I'm stitching, and yeah, I could put them in, like a gram guard, but I didn't want to do that, so I ended up putting it on another scroll frame, which I had to order, but there's never too many scroll frames, right? And it's only a tiny little sad start exactly because of that. So I worked on it for one evening when we started it, which was 22nd of April. And then because I didn't hit 100 stitches, I thought at least another few to hit 100. So that's all I have, a tiny little sad start. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Belfast linen in platinum, and it's a, you know, like a cream, I don't know how to describe this color really. It's really beautiful, and it's something in between light green and cream, I want to say, almost. Yeah, well, you can see the white fabric on the scroll frame, so yeah, it's a bit off-white. And like I said, 100 stitches, a tiny sad little start. I normally don't do that. I said to you before, I tried to do at least 1,000 stitches on each design when I started, just so I have something a bit more substantial, but to come back to. But this time I just didn't have the time, and I didn't enjoy stitching on the hoop, and then by the time the frame had arrived from where I ordered it, I was already busy with something else, and I didn't want to interrupt that. So realistically I should stitch on it in May, but I had other plans, so I might not pull it out until June. But then at the end of June I should have at least 1,000, I would say. Like I said, I was happy to have an excuse to make a memorable start. So that was the nettle. And then I will be showing you 2 of my whips. So I only worked on 2 other things during the month of April. Like I said, because most of the time went into finishing memorabilia. And I worked on 2 of my whips. They're probably 2 of the oldest ones. Let me have a look on my spreadsheet. No. So one of them is the oldest and the other one is the 3rd oldest. So the first one I worked on in April, and this was the one I worked on the 1st of April. I think I was filming the previous month's update around that weekend and said that I really got into it and it was going really, really well. So I stitched on the Japanese garden by Dimensions, and it's a kit and it lives in this bag with Japanese waves. And I did really good progress on it over that long weekend at the beginning of the month. And what I've done is, let me show you, I had finished 1/4, so the 3rd quarter of the design is finished, and it's the left top one, and I only have 1/4 on the right left. So there's quite a lot that doesn't get stitched up at all in the center, and it's just the sky. I'll probably just leave it here and talk to you from behind the frame. Yeah. So this is my oldest whip. It's a bit over 4 years now. It was a gift from my sister, and I really want to finish it this year. I think I only have about 8,000 on it left, so it is realistic to finish it this year if I put the time in. And I love how it turned out, and it was just such an inspiration that I was getting close to, you know, finishing the 3rd quarter. And now that I'm so close to the finish, I'm just really inspired to work more on it and get it done. And so it's beautiful and lovely, and it uses 16 count blue Ada from the kit, all of the kit floss, all of the strands that it says to use 1, 2, and 3, and 5, and however many. And there's half stitches and back stitch and full crosses and all sorts of things here. Absolutely love it. So I've done about 1,000 on it, like I said, on that day, on the 1st of April, and I haven't worked on it since then. Yeah, but I'll probably pick it up in June, we'll see. And then my other whip that I worked on, and I'm actually still working on and hoping maybe by the end of the month I'll be able to make more progress on it and finish what I had planned. So this is 12 Days of Christmas by no, that's not Shepherd's Bush, I always say that. 12 Days of Christmas by Stony Creek. And you can either stitch it as one big piece, or you can do the central piece separately and then the ornaments as their own things. And oh, this is how it's meant to be. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm looking at it now. So I'm stitching it as one big piece with everything on it together. I'm not sure how they took the picture of it, because this is meant to be a water lily linen by Witchelt, and it's light green, and on the cover picture it sort of looks white or maybe cream. I am using the same linen as called for, but in a different count. I think it calls for 28 and I'm using 32, which is my favorite. And I'll show you my progress in a second. The reason I was just shouting out, so you might notice the border between the main design and the side designs, or the distance between the main and the side ones, is different than the distance between the little blocks. And I noticed it while I was stitching it this month. I don't know how I haven't noticed that before, and I was questioning if I had put the electronic pattern together poorly and didn't, check that, and didn't even think of looking at the cover picture, which obviously has the same. So that's good, that's fine then. I'm happy. I can see now what they've done, because they've got the dark red circle and then the squares, so it all works together. So it's a booklet. It's like, if anyone's interested and wants to stitch it, it is 408. And it lives in, questionably, but in my view, Christmas bag, and has got all of the extra, non-DMC things. So Glisten Gloss and Wixler Works and Gentle Art. Yeah, I don't think there's any Classic Color Works in this one. And so I made about 1,300, I stitched about 1,300 stitches on it this month. Because I took longer than I expected on Mirabilia, I only picked it up a few days ago. And like I said, I still have, let's say, 2.5 days of the month left. But 2 of them are working days in the office, so commute will take some time and everything, so I'm not sure I'll be able to finish it. So my plan was, because I'm stitching 1 square a month at this point, and I won't be able to do that in May, I wanted to get ahead and stitch 2 squares in April. But like I said, because of stitching Mirabilia, I didn't manage to. However, I started and made some progress. So let me show you, I'm in the frame, yep. So this is the 12 Days of Christmas, 32 count, Witchelt in Water Lily. I didn't do anything to it in terms of dyeing, it's as is. And I'm using all of the called for DMCs and over dyed and Glisten Gloss. I haven't beaded anything yet, because these don't have too many beads, and I'll do it at the end. So I started working on these 2. So day 6 and 7. Day 6 is geese laying eggs, and then day 7 is swans. And I usually start with the border, so it's 2 over dyed threads, and it takes quite a lot of stitching, but I really enjoy it. I mean, the number of stitches. So I've done that. I've done the back stitch around the outer border. I can't do the inside border yet until I've done the stitching, because there's quite a few stitches that touch the border, and I want to do back stitch then once I'm done with the crosses. And I've started on some of the colors inside, but like I said, I think there's about 2,800 stitches in both of them combined, and I've done, like I said, about 1,300, so I have 1,500 left. Could be, depending on the time I have left this month and the energy I have left, I might be able to finish it. I mean, these 2, not the whole thing, right? So I've gotten to the bottom of the design now. I have 3 top ones done, except for the first day, which is Partridge in a Pear Tree. And if I manage to finish these 2 in June, oh, I'm gonna be behind then, aren't I? So I didn't even finish the April one. I didn't finish the May one. I won't have time to stitch on it in May. If I only finish these 2 in June, I'll be a month behind, won't I? Yep. we'll see. We'll see with the time I have for stitching and what I want to do. If that's something I want to do an extra day, then I'll do that. If not, then I'll finish them a bit later in the year. That's fine. So here they are. I love, love, love the fabric. It's light green, like an apple green almost. Very, very nice. Love Witchel, like I said. Probably before we had to purchases and sewing and other crafts and questions about stretchers for my scroll frames, I will do Maynia plans and just talk about Maynia a bit. So I have mentioned it before, I have done a similar concept thing on the channel in the Russian language that I used to have, that I do have on YouTube as well. And the only difference is that in the Russian stitching community, it's in the Russian language stitching community, it is an April month of starts, not May. So I've done it before a few times, and I never did like a full 30 days full on Maynia or April in that case. I don't think I could ever do it, to be honest with you. 30 days, 30 starts is way too many for me. That's one thing. I don't usually have that many whips. I usually have maybe maximum of like 16, not definitely under 20. And starting 30 things, that would be too much. Starting something every day would be too much. Starting a new thing, a new fabric, and new colors and designs, and then having to abandon it after every day and start something else, that would be just, my anxiety-ridden brain would not manage with that. So the way I've done it in the past and the way I want to do it now with Maynia, and this is going to be my first Maynia on this channel and just in general, is I want to do 5. I ended up deciding on 5 starts. So I'm cheating a little bit because I'll be stealing a few days off June to do this. Oh, I should actually account for that in my plans for June. So I'm stealing a couple days off June to do this. So what I won't do today is I won't show you the designs that I'm going to stitch on. I want to keep it a secret until the last possible moment, as in you will see them soon, and I'll explain what and when. So I'm doing 5 starts. I am going to start a Make It Pink design, a Nora, a Witchy Stitcher, an Owl Forest, and what is my 5th one? Oh, and a Shepherd's Bush. I am going to give each of them a whole week of stitching, nothing else. I'm working on nothing else in May, so only the new starts, unless I break down and I really need to stitch on something that's already, properly on the way and I want to make progress there, then I might sneak in a couple whips of my own. So I'm starting a new design every Wednesday of May, and starting with the 1st of May. And I'm going to be filming a little intro thing on every Wednesday, or maybe I'll film them ahead. I'll see how I want to sort of handle the filming of it in the next few days. So, and then I'll stitch on it for a week. I might do a Saturday update on it as well, but I'll definitely be doing here's a whole week of stitching that I've done on it and I've done in the first week. And then I'll be posting one video every week on Thursdays, starting May, let me see, I think May 8th. Just looking at my calendar. No, starting with May 9th. So the 9th, 16th, 23rd and 30th and the 6th of June, you will see one video each week for one start. So like I said, I'll stitch on it for a whole week. I'll show you what I've done. I'll do like a little intro of what the design is, what are the materials, why and what, and all the things. And then they will be shorter than any of my other videos. I don't think they'll be more than 20 minutes to half an hour each. And then after Maynia, after doing all of this, in June, I'll go back to my normal stitching on whatever I want, whenever the hell I want. And I'll be filming June update at the end of the month, and you'll also see 2 June videos about my FFOs and something else. I don't remember. I need to look at my schedule of the things I had planned. So yeah. So every Thursday in May and the 6th of June, you will see a video of my start. And that's when I'll reveal sort of what I had started. I will also be posting pictures of them on Instagram. So on the day when I start them, I'll be posting just the fabric and the materials and the things. So I won't be showing you the design just yet. And then once I've done a week on it, then I'll show you the design and my progress and all the things. I hope that's not too much of filming and social media interaction for me in a month. We'll see how it goes, fingers crossed. Like I said, to make it a bit easier for myself, I might film a few intros for these ahead of time, but I'll be starting them, like I said, every Wednesday. So I think stitching on them for a whole week will give me more time to familiarize myself with the materials, with the fabric, with the, you know, the design of it, to make some nice progress. So I'm hoping, and it's not a goal, I'm just hoping, I'll be able to do at least 2,000 stitches on each of them during that time, during the week that I'm stitching on them. And to facilitate that, a lot of the time in April went into prepping. So I have shown you bags I have sewn before. I have actually sewn another one. Let me just show it here while I'm talking to you about it. So you might have seen the fabric in my March update, and I've made myself an owl forest embroidery bag. So I've had this green fabric in my last stash, my last haul, and I really wanted a bag out of it, and I've used this what's it called, like a taupe brownish color fabric on the inside with a bit of mottling. Tried to do quilting that looks like trees-ish, and then used a brown zipper. And so this is going to be my Owl Forest Designs bag. And like I said, one of the starts, I did end up deciding to start an Owl Forest, so you'll see it again in May. So yeah, a lot of time went into sewing bags, prepping the fabric and all of the materials. And let me just actually, no, I'll talk to you about it during the start. So if you're curious about the way I start and how I prep the fabric and do all the things, wait till the May videos and I'll talk to you about that somewhere in there. So yeah, a lot of time went into that. And then I've also done, so I don't have previews, like paper previews to some of these designs because they are PDF patterns. And I've printed them in color and backed them with some paper, and I'll show you that again a little bit later, just so I can have something to show in the video and not insert the photos, and also something for the pictures. So yeah, a lot of prep for Maynia, and this is the plan for the videos. I hope you'll enjoy it. I hope you'll watch it and find the videos and designs interesting, and I'm really looking forward to it. I am really excited. The whole month has been filled with anticipation and with preparation and serging the fabric and ironing and putting it on scroll frames and choosing the most appropriate needle minder from my needle minder collection, which lives on the magnetic board there. So very exciting stuff. I'm also excited that I'll be stitching just on the new things in May, and yeah. So that's Maynia. So it's sort of a mini Maynia, but not in the sense that I'm stitching mini designs, but in the sense that I'm only doing 5 starts, not 30 or 31. So the next thing I wanted to do is very quickly go over the question I had in one of the previous videos. Somebody asked me what I did for side stretching of the fabric. I'm not sure what it's properly called. And I said I have a few options and I'll show you in one of the videos. So I have 3 at the moment. None of them are ideal, and I'm not sure if I would have recommended them. That's just what I'm using. If you have better options, please leave me a comment below and I'll be happy to look into it and possibly purchase it for myself and, you know, use it in my stitching. Right, so here are the 3 ways I stretch my fabric on the sides when I use scroll frames. They use the same method but different options for stretching. So one of them and I've seen somebody do it, and I just monkey copied it. So this is not a new start for me, that's just something else. So I have this tiny frame, I'll show you on this. So these are Velcro cable ties. You can get them on Amazon or anywhere you get your, you know, your general organizational stuff. And then all of my methods, and I'll show on the other two, use these metal hooks. So they are I want to call them like, not hooks, I'm not sure what they're called. I think they're used for curtains, for hanging curtains, and I've bought like a whole bag of them and I just have them set in one of my drawers. So you can use cable ties to do that. You can use as many or as few as you need. You can adjust, you know, the length from the side of your scroll frame to your fabric with, you know, tightening them or loosening them up a bit more. That's one of the ways. Then the other way is something I bought that somebody professionally made, but that's back at home in Belarus, and I'm not sure I have access to it anymore. I had one set and that was it. So say on the 12 days of Christmas, I used this, and this is, I think this is used for hat making, I'm not sure. So it's a stretchy cord, and then somebody's put, you know, the stoppers for different lengths, again, between the scroll frame and the fabric. And again, it uses the same hooks, just in a different color. And you can put as many or as few on the sides as you want. And then another option of the same thing is you just get one long piece of the same cord. You hook as many of these as you need to the side, and then you sort of weave it around, and that works too, sort of. I'm not in love with any of them, like I said. They work, but I'm sure there are better methods out there. But I had a question out and I wanted to answer it, so here are the three options that I use. If you still have any questions, leave me a comment below and I'll try to answer as best as I can. I wanted to show you one other quick little thing. So I have been trying to do things, crafty things besides cross stitching and sewing to do with cross stitching. And I have been, if you know me, you know that I love Japan, its culture, and everything about Japan. And so one of the things that I've always been curious about and I've wanted to try is some traditional Japanese embroidery. And so not last year, a couple of years ago, there was a class, someone was teaching in Nottingham, where I'm based, where they were showing how to do sashiko embroidery, and you could just come over and they would give you the materials and the threads and all the things, and you would just, you know, use up what was in the class. So it was only like a short couple-hour class, so you can't really do much in that time, and a lot of it is, you know, sort of the person talking you through the idea of sashiko and the philosophy behind it and the process of it, and showing you sort of the patterns and the pictures, and you don't have that much time to actually stitch on things. So I had some pieces of fabric I took back home from the class, and I started doing some of the embroidery. I didn't quite like what I had started at that point, and so I've taken some time in April to change it and make it my own and start my project on it. So I had these random pieces of fabric, all different shapes and cuts, and I've put them together in this little quilt patch piece. I have quilted them just a little bit, you know, just with the sort of around the seams. I've added some cotton batting to make it a bit thicker. And then once I've had the class, I was curious enough to sort of go on my own. So I got myself a couple of acrylic sashiko pattern, what are they called, templates. And I have started embroidery on it with some of pearl threads. So I had bought a couple following the class that I had used to match the colors, and I've just used some of my own stash. So I only have two patterns in my stash so far, the sort of flowery one and the waves, but I quite like them, and so I'm trying to alternate the colors and the patterns, and probably leaving the pieces of fabric that have a pattern of their own alone, if that makes sense. And it's only a tiny little piece, and I'm not sure what I'll do with it when it's done, but I keep on joking that it's just going to be a really fancy cat bed. Fancy because it took so much time to make this. But I really like this, and so when I don't feel like cross stitching or I don't have that much physical space to do it, I'll pick this up, and it's quite, you know, I don't need a hoop or a stand or anything. I just sew in hand, and it's very meditative and relaxing, and I really enjoy it. So I'll definitely be doing more of Sashiko, and I'm hoping that by the end of June I will show you a completely finished piece. I was watching a video by the by Cross Stitch the Globe, Stephanie and Allison, who make this fantastic series of most expensive kits, patterns, and now books that somebody bought and sold on eBay. They base theirs on the US sales for 2023 and I think some of the 2024, and they mentioned a couple books that I had in my collection which I did not realize were expensive whatsoever. I had them for years and either had them as a gift or bought them when they were just printed or got some kind of other deal. Like I found one at the flea market for £2. But I got curious about other books and went on a whole sort of rabbit hole dive into cross stitch books, and I got a few. They are used, they're all in quite good condition, and I got them off an eBay store that sells used books in general. So I got this one by Donna Kohler, who has fantastic patterns and I love her style. And this one is 555 cross stitch sampler motifs. Has quite a few lovely designs. I liked this one the most, I think, out of all of them. And I'll just show you one because it was a really unexpected find. I'm not really too much into, you know, I don't do reproduction samplers, at least at this point, because when I just started stitching, I remember I filmed my first ever video for the channel in the Russian language. I said, I don't stitch mirabilias, I don't stitch primitives, I don't stitch, you know, the Quakers and whatever. And I stitch half of that, if not more now. So at this point in my life, I don't stitch reproduction samplers, and I'm not really big into Quakers. And I don't think I've ever done like a monochromatic sampler. I haven't done a long dog either, but I do want to start one really badly. And one of the starts I was considering for May was a long dog, but I decided against it for now. But when I saw this red sampler in the book, I just fell in love. All of the shapes, and this is one color, just this spoke to me somehow. I just loved it so much. So maybe a start at some point. Right, then I got another one, again by Donna Kohler. This is another 555 cross-stitch motifs. This one is home, family, children and animals. I don't think I've got too many in this one that I like, but it's quite a lovely book anyways. Good to keep for reference if you ever need to stitch small designs as a gift or anything else. And then I got two Christmas books that I'm really excited about. So this one is Better Homes and Garden, a cross-stitch Christmas. And this one is it's not really paperback, but it's not hard copy either. Hardcover, I mean. Yeah. Are there any years here, I'm wondering? These are all quite dated, I'm not sure. 1996. So here's this one. The one I really like from this book, it's on the back, is this Hardanger tree. I love it. And then the last one is another Christmas book, like I said, and this is again Better Homes and Gardens, a cross-stitch Christmas and handmade treasures. I do tend to stitch a lot of Christmas things, so I thought I'd just get these. Two little things that are not, you know, patterns or kits or something is I was, again, as part of prepping for Maynia and just the general sort of overlook of my stash, I have noticed that I need a lot of certain colors for upcoming designs, and I didn't want to go buy like a certain amount of skeins. TMC has gone up again, and it's like 110, 120 in UK. So I found this seller on eBay, and they sell these 100-meter little bundles, balls, I'm not sure what these are called, of one continuous DMC thread off the large cone. So if I don't want to splurge and get a large cone, or I don't need that many meters of one color, I just got 3371 and B52 B5200, and I'll be using them in the upcoming designs, and they ended up being cheaper than buying the same amount of meters and skeins, if that makes sense. So I'll be using those, and then I've got a couple pieces of fabric. So where have I put it now? I've got 3 pieces of fabric. I'll have to show you one of them in June because I don't have it yet. I'll show the other 2 today though. So I've got a lovely chunk of casual linen in color beige, and this is a fat quarter. I just found a really good deal on eBay of someone who was selling their stash, I think, and snapped that up. I do love casual linen, and it's just a nice neutral, like beigey sand duney sort of color. And then the other one is just gorgeous and amazing. And so I've got a piece of Picture This Plus, which I've never stitched on before. I have a few pieces in my stash, and I'm using 2 different colors in my May starts. However, like I said, I haven't stitched on it before, and maybe I've jumped the gun a little bit here, but I just couldn't pass it by. So somebody was selling a, what is it called? A fat half? So it's a 26 by 36 giant piece of a gorgeous Picture This Plus Belfast linen. And this is, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Oh goodness. How about now? Let me show you a smaller piece. Maybe that will work a bit better. What about now? I think it washes it out a little bit on camera. So this one is called Da Vinci, a Crystal Da Vinci, because it's an opalescent as well. Maybe this way. Yeah. So it's a purple base, like a lavender purple, with a bit of orangey, clay reds, and it is opalescent with the iridescent thread, not the metallic one. And like I said, it's a fat half, and it's a gorgeous color. Really good deal. Again, I got it from the same person I got the other Picture This Plus ones from. I've touched the ones I've had. I quite like, you know, the feel of them, and I just need to stitch on them to see, you know, if maybe I need to be getting 28 count instead of 32, because this probably shrinks quite a lot while, you know, being dyed. This is a good color now. Now you can see. It sort of looks like, you know, if you look at the night sky, but lighter than that. So the Milky Way, yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Have no idea what I'm going to stitch on it. And yeah, I'll do something with it. I'm sure I'll find something to do. It might house Mirabilia, or it might have a long dog, or a shepherd's bush, who knows. It's beautiful and I love it. I haven't stitched on an opalescent before. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have. I don't think, no. I once stitched on an opalescent 14 count Ada, but not on linen. So that's the fabric, and then I got a kit and some patterns that I'm really excited about. Let me show you the kit first. So, and this is not the one I've been waiting for. So I had custom ordered a shepherd's bush kit from one of the UK stores, and they're getting it for me directly from Shepherd's Bush because I couldn't find it anywhere in UK, and I didn't realize I could just order it from US from other places, but that's another story. So I'm still waiting for that, and in the meantime I found this little cute pattern, cute kit on eBay, and this is called Dresser Drawer Heart, and it's a chest of drawers with tiny little beads for handles and a little heart on top of the dresser. and it's so precious and cute. And I've just taken it out of the packaging to show you the colors properly. So it uses their lovely organizers and then floss cards, what do you call them? And then some lovely silk that I've never used before, not yet. And then a piece of 32 count linen, I think. Maybe 28. I need to double check the count. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. Maybe with the white. It's the gentlest touch of pink or lavender sort of color. Very pretty, very cute. And then lots of pattern bits and instructions for specialty stitches. So I'm really excited to stitch it. It's not one of the starts, I'm afraid, but maybe in June or sometime soon I'll get to it. I don't want to put them aside for too long. And then I really wanted to get like a more substantial shepherd's bush pattern, and I have a few vintage ones from the 90s that I'll show you soon. But somebody was selling some patterns from the kits they had stitched, and I thought, even if I don't have, you know, all of the threads and the fabric and everything, I can either, you know, kit it up myself, or I can maybe substitute the colors with something else. So I got two patterns from kits. So this is Gratitude Sampler, and it's a fantastic tall and skinny, and that's my favorite form factor design, with a lot of green in it, like always, and some just lovely springy colors, and it's going to be a big one as well. I love it so much. And then the other one is the what's it called, Sail Away. And this one has a bit of a sort of Quaker elements there at the top, I think. Some birds and a little wreath and the lovely floral border that I've seen in other designs before. So this one is really gorgeous. So what I'm planning to do with these, again, they both use the Aversois silk that was in the kit by whoever, you know, stitched them, and I think one or both also use either dinky dyes or other silks basically. So I'll see. I'm not planning to start them anytime soon. I just really wanted to have them in my stash. I had a look and I couldn't find them on the website or like readily available at other places. So I thought I'll grab them while I can on eBay, and then I will kit them up myself later, and I'll probably talk you through it when I get to that. And then I also got a really nice little stack of Cricut Collection designs. So I love Cricut Collection very much, and I have I don't think I've stitched anything from them before. I think I've said it before that I have a design that I really love in my stash and I'm planning to start it this autumn, but I haven't stitched them before. However, I do love them very much. So I got a few patterns. I will show you one that I'm keeping, and I will be giving away 2 today. So the one that I'm keeping and that I fell in love with, and that's sort of why I got the lot, but I also wanted to do the giveaway. So this is the Great Pumpkin Conspiracy, and it's number 295, and it's got a conspiracy of crows, and there's a lovely story on the back as well saying that, you know, a group of crows is called a murder, and in this case it's a conspiracy of crows. Because they're up to something, and they've got the lovely pumpkins and the moon or the sun probably, and the oak tree and the squirrels, and I'm in love. I didn't know when I got these that Cricut Collection is cheeky and uses different combination of threads and different designs. The one I have only uses DMCs, and I assumed wrongly that all of the other designs use DMC only as well. So this lovely pattern does use DMC, but also silk and color silks, and there's like 9 of them or something, and it's going to be a bit hefty kitting this up, but I'll see. I might substitute them from my stash threads. I'll see, because they are quite unique, because they are, not only are they variegated silk, they're also, you know, what do you call it? Multicolored. Basically, it doesn't go from a light yellow to a darker yellow. It goes through, say, the one that the leaves use. It goes through pink and green and turquoise and yellow, so they are multicolored silks. I haven't stitched with those before, and I'll think about it. It's not an immediate start at any point soon, but sometime. And then I want to do 2 giveaways today. So let's do these 2. So celebrating the 1,000 subscribers on the channel, and as a thank you to everyone who watches and subscribes and comments and supports me here, I wanted to give away 2 Cricut Collection patterns, one to one person each. And again, I am only doing this for now for anyone who lives in UK or EU, and I'm asking you not to put the words free or giveaway or win or anything to do with, you know, giveaways in the comments. I'm giving away this lovely friendship, sweet friendship design, again by Cricut Collection. And this one is completely new, never used, not marked. And to participate and to for your chance to win, put the word friendship in the comment. You can either use it organically in a sentence or just put the word friendship. And also, if I could ask you to put your city and country in the comment as well, or at least city. Just so I know and I can match up later for the person who wins that it's definitely you and not somebody pretending to be you. So the first one is a sweet friendship, and put the word friendship in the comments to win this. And if you're curious, let me just have a look for you. This also has, as always on the Cricut Collection, has a little carrot design with a house on top of it. So this one uses only DMC and Anchor. Well, you choose between DMC and Anchor, just so you know what you're subscribing to, right? If you want to stitch it straight away and not splurge on silks. And yeah, and then the other one has it's a vintage, and it is unmarked and new. However, the front of it has a bit of a mark left from the price tag. So if you don't mind that and you like the design, and this is Thoreau's Friends, and these are lovely floral designs, put the word let's say flowers. Let's put the word flowers in the comment. Again, don't say win or giveaway or free, and put the word flowers in plural, again in a sentence or by itself, the name of your city and country if possible, and you will be able to win this design. This is again like a leaflet. This is 1994, so I'm not sure how available it is at the moment, but I got it as part of the package of a few. And let me check for you again. So the design on the left here with the sunflower and the birds uses, let me see, just the DMCs. Yeah. And then the big flower design in here uses, right, DMC. I think that's just DMC as well. Yeah. So cool. No silks in these 2, just in mine, with the Conspiracy of Crows. So again, if you want to win either the friendship sampler, so put the word friendship and your city and country in the comments below, and the floral one, put the word flowers with your city and country, and you have to be 18 years old, so you can give me your address, and be a subscriber, and ideally like this video as well to support me. And yeah, so we are celebrating the 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Yay! What else? I think one last thing. I forgot this. Right, and the last bit of the video is going to be a bit of a life update for anyone who is interested, and if you're not, thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me, and I'll see you in my next one. And for anyone who is, I'll just talk you a little bit through what happened in April, besides, like I said, stitching and sewing. So a few little things. Both my niece and my mom-in-law have their birthday at the end of March, very close to each other. However, with like family illnesses and other commitments and work and all of the things, we don't always get to celebrate people's birthdays on the actual day or even on the weekend after the birthday. So we had a couple of belated birthday celebrations. We went out with my mom-in-law and my husband. We took her to a candlelight show. So if you're in UK, you might have seen those. There's a company called Fever, I believe, who put up these candlelight shows. So they are acoustic instruments, most of the time string quartets that play music dedicated to a band, or inspired by a band and doing sort of covers of their music. And so we have previously seen, I think on one of my birthdays, me and Dovi went out to see some classical music, to hear some classical music, and so it was the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. And then a few weeks ago we went to see music by Hans Zimmer from a few of the films that he's composed music for. And then in April we went out with my mom-in-law to listen to Tribute to Queen. She is a huge fan of Queen and Freddie Mercury, and we went out and it was fantastic. Really loved it. And it's obviously it's a string quartet that's unplugged and acoustic, right? And there is candlelight. It's not real candles for fire safety reasons, but they're the electronic ones that flicker anyway. So it does look really cozy and lovely. It's usually a little sort of concert hall. It's not, a massive space, just so it carries, the music and the acoustics. And this time we went to Nottingham Contemporary Museum, and that was really nice. And the space there had good acoustics and we really loved it. And then we celebrated my niece's birthday yesterday. So that cut some time out of my stitching, which is fine. But yeah, we had some fun. We played some games and watched some films together and spent really good time together. And yeah, I think those were all of these sort of social events of last month. Oh, I've gone out with a friend as well on one of the school nights, as you call, and we had a great dinner and a great conversation. It was a lot of fun. And then also April, so we had changed the clocks at the end of March, which meant we got 1 more hour of daylight in April every single day. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. It sort of gives you more energy and enthusiasm to do things. And so we've picked up house renovations again, and we had some issues with damp in our fireplace because it's an old, the house is about 90 years old, and for UK it's not really old, but it does, come with its own challenges. And we didn't need to sort of restore the house. It wasn't a good enough condition to move in. We're just doing mostly cosmetic renovations, but the fireplace had some damp, so my husband is fixing that, and that's taking quite some time because it requires, layers of things and waiting for things to dry and set and all this stuff. And obviously you can't be loud any time of the day, and we have work and other commitments, so we're slowly working on that. And then I was working on some woodwork yesterday and doing some sanding. So we want to put a mantelpiece in place above the fireplace, and it's not going to be a working fireplace, but I was just sanding, and I'm going to stain it and put it up at some point soon. And we also want to do alcove shelves on the sides of the fireplace, and again we're doing all of it ourselves, and that takes time. So we got some new scaffolding boards, and I need to sand those, and probably smooth out the corners and then stain them and oil them and all the things. And then at some point soon, we're hoping the next few months we'll have some shelves in the living room finally. We'll be able to unpack all of our books. We have quite a little library of our own, and I'm really excited for that. I can't wait. So yeah, the cats are a bit stressed, I think, because of the living room renovation. So they're allowed almost anywhere in the house, but they mostly spend their time in the living room. And I don't know, I don't think they are enjoying the fact that we've tarped the place up and it's a bit messy and there's boxes and tools everywhere. And they are safe and they're fine, but yeah, I'm not sure how happy they are. But hopefully we'll be done soon and they'll go back to normal. So I think that's it for April. All the things: stitching, buying, prepping for Maynia, life update. I hope I didn't forget anything or anyone, and hope you enjoyed this video, found something useful or just found it entertaining. Thank you again for choosing to spend time with me. I will see you with another monthly update at the end of June. I will see you every Thursday in May and on the 6th of June with a video about my May starts. And also 2 videos in June will come out on the 10th and the 20th. And I'll be talking to you about some other cross-stitching related topics. So hope you had a fun April as well. I will be really glad to hear about your stitching in the comments below. If you've had any finishes or finished something you didn't expect to, or found a new designer you fell in love with, if you're doing anything for Maynia, I'll be really curious to see. I won't be joining Mira May. I might do it next year, we'll see, but I'm sort of cheating and I have a Nora, which a bit of a stretch, but you'll see. I'm not sure if it qualifies. So thank you again so much. I'll stop rambling. I'll let you get going. Hope you have a fantastic Stitchy May, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much. Bye.